There are some places in the universe you don't go alone. If that's true for our beloved heroine Ripley from the original films, then it seems to even be true when it comes to the alien, the xenomorph XX-121 itself. A new trailer for Alien Earth has been released, and it has given us some significant glimpses of the alien creatures that were part of the cargo of the USCSS Maginot, which crashes to Earth. After months of teaser trailers not actually incorporating all too much actual footage from the series, we finally have a proper trailer. This is what I've been waiting for, and there's a lot to unpack here, so let's get into it. Firstly, I think we should talk about Wendy. This is Sydney Chandler's character, seemingly the main character of the series as a whole. She will be the new development from the Prodigy Corporation, a humanoid robot infused with human consciousness. It so happens that the consciousness for this prototype is that of a child, so living forever in that state will be pushing forward the Peter Pan allegory they seem to be going for. Not only her name being Wendy, but the facility where this operation takes place is none other than the Neverland Research Island. Very subtle. But why Wendy, we may ask? It's clear enough from this footage that in her human form, she is sick, very likely with some kind of terminal illness. Is she a volunteer, participating knowing the risks of such a procedure, but willing to go through it anyway for the chance to escape her death? Does she have connections of some kind, the daughter of an important figure in this world? The CEO of Prodigy, Boy Cavalier, played by Samuel Blenkin, speaks to her in this trailer. He tells her that she's special. Very, very special. Kind words because she's important to him in some familiar way, or something else. Maybe she has some kind of unique ability that Prodigy wishes to harness. If the girl dies, they lose access to it, but if she transitions into a synthetic body, it can be used in perpetuity. Some interesting questions of morality come along with that. Not only the dilemma of having the option to live forever in a robot body, but if your consciousness is still your own, but the vessel belongs to a company, are you technically property? I think they could have some fun playing around with those kinds of ideas. As for what Wendy's special ability could be, I'm not entirely sure, but one image from the trailer sparked a theory. This drawing, which I assume was from Wendy, looked kind of familiar. If Alien Earth comes with some slight nods to the original Aliens comics, such as competing corporations on Earth, then this may call back to the Dark Horse story as well. In Aliens, Book 1, later retitled Outbreak, human beings on Earth were having visions of the alien in their dreams. They were not represented by the alien in the familiar form as we know it, but as a large, shadowy beast with red eyes, very much like the drawing we see. It could be a coincidence, or maybe there is something to it. Possibly what makes Wendy so special is that she has some kind of psychic or telepathic connection to aliens and other beings that Prodigy wants to harness. Maybe there is some kind of similarity in the scorpion we see. Maybe this power is so strong that her mortal body can't even handle it, and that's why she needs to be transferred into a synthetic in the first place. I'm very curious how this character could play out in the series and what exactly makes her so special. However much time may pass between this transfer of consciousness and the crash of the Maginot on Earth can only be guessed at this point. Enough time, I suppose, to prove the operation to be a success and for Wendy to build a trust with Prodigy. Some details revealed earlier have described Kirsch, the synthetic played by Timothy Olyphant, as Wendy's protector. So that's sure to be a key relationship in this story. When Maginot crashes, Cavalier says he wants what's on that ship, and Wendy seems to volunteer to lead this salvage mission along with Kirsch and others, and we see them inside the wreckage. We are told this ship collected 5 different life forms from the darkest corners of the universe. Monsters. So what are these monsters? One we already get a nice bit of information on thanks to a shot with a computer readout retrieved from the ship's records. This nasty little creature is referred to as T. ocellus. Here's what the readout says. Ocular triggers and a tentacle system that can grow or retract at will. The tentacles carry extraordinary strength and are built to climb into and dislodge the eyes of other living organisms. Once replaced in the eye socket, T. ocellus takes over the ocular pathways to the brain, overriding the neurotransmissions throughout the body. More study needed to gauge inherent intelligence, though T. ocellus has shown remarkable problem-solving skills at a near-human measure. So here we have an alien creature that can apparently dig into a human brain and control it. That's absolutely wonderful, and in a long-standing tradition. It's always worth noting that the original Alien from Ridley Scott took inspiration from sci-fi classics from the 50s and 60s, the more obvious examples being It, The Terror from Beyond Space, The Thing from Another World, and Planet of the Vampires. In a similar vein as George Lucas's Star Wars and the science fiction serials, a glossed-over, high-production version for modern audiences. No little strings on a cheap-looking rocket, no visible zippers on a suit that's clearly a guy in a suit, but an old idea done seriously with reverence and, in so many ways, more realistic. With the original Alien, it's obviously the monster on board kind of story, but there are many alien invader stories that were about alien parasites that could infect and control humans. Films from the same era like Invaders from Mars, The Brain Eaters, I Married a Monster from Outer Space, It Came from Outer Space, and to a certain extent, even Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I love that they're bringing an alien like that into this series. It is very welcome, and to present it in this high-budget, serious style in the same vein as Alien would make a very nice addition. At the same time, I don't think a creature like this, as ominous and threatening as it may be, would overshadow the xenomorph in any way. I think we can already get the sense that the xenomorph is the crown jewel in this selection of monsters. But they could definitely have some fun with this little brain bug. You could have characters working against each other, posing a threat, and maybe there is some kind of procedure that can rid the human brain of this creature once it's been attached. Maybe that's what we see here in the trailer. Whether that's the same creature retracting and hiding inside the stasis tube in this shot, I'm not entirely sure. But if we look to the right, we can see another creature that's very bug-like. If I had to pose a guess about this one, then it's probably the creature we saw in the previous teaser for the series. When I first saw that teaser, initially I thought that it must be a facehugger, but surely it's something different, winged, and with thinner limbs. We can only imagine the possibilities behind this one. Now, it could be a long shot, but it's always possible this creature could be related to, or at least inspired by, something depicted in Alien's Bug Hunt, the 2017 short story collection. One of these stories, Blowback, by Christopher Golden, involved the Marines on a mission to acquire a similarly described insect-like creature in the Pollux system. It was not given a name, referred to mainly as a kite. This was a flying bug, not unlike a locust, with razor-sharp limbs. Its carbon makeup was similar to propane and was desired for the possibilities it could bring to fuel and FTL travel. Very aggressive, very deadly, and on top of that, it would explode if fired upon. Now that would be something to see on screen. I guess we'll have to watch this bug closely to see if there's actually any relation. I've gone through the trailer a few times, and I think this might be the extent to what we see with the new creatures. One seems yet to be revealed, in a large egg, certainly not a xenomorph egg, which we do see for comparison. So something very nasty and very big could be in there, but they haven't drawn back the curtains on that one just yet. Based on the wording, it's likely enough all of these creatures were taken from different locations, and I wonder if we may find out more about their origins. If you've seen some of my previous videos, originally I was guessing that the crashed ship may have actually been the Covenant, given the timeline being so close, but that turned out not to be the case. It doesn't mean, though, that the xenomorph specimens weren't found on Planet 4, the site of David 8's experiments with the pathogen in creating the perfect organism. He left quite a bit still down there, and if the Covenant crew could find this mysterious, uncharted planet, then surely other explorers could have too. If the scenario is that the Maginot crew collected both eggs and somehow a full-grown xenomorph XX121, then Planet 4 would be the location that makes the most sense. There were still eggs there, and as far as the adult xenomorph is concerned, there are a few different possibilities. Surely an impregnation could have taken place aboard the Maginot, and one of its crew was a host. They also could have found the xenomorph that was blown out of the Covenant's terraforming bay by Daniels, in a similar fashion the Nostromo's alien was found in Alien Romulus. Or, if we are to believe the comments from Ridley Scott, who is a producer on this series, then the other xenomorph, crushed by the cargo lift's grabber arm, fell back under the surface of the planet and eventually regenerated. But all of this is assuming it has any connection to Covenant at all. The specimens could have been retrieved from another location, and there's always the possibility that they simply never explain it. I'm left with a lot of burning questions, but to be sure that's the nature of these trailers, and it was a really good trailer. Finally, we have a fully fledged look at what's to come, and I have to say my hype for it is growing bigger than ever, and I'm leaving a lot of my inhibitions and reservations behind. I love the look of it. This definitely has the production value that a title like Alien deserves. The looks we get at Prodigy City, really the first time we actually see Earth in any of the Alien series entries, they're great. I'm intrigued by the glimpses we get of these characters. We even see some of the weaponry. The proto-pulse rifles, not quite the design as seen in Aliens, but congruent enough with Alien Romulus. And could my eyes be playing tricks on me, or do we see some kind of smart gun reflected in the water here? I don't know. Lots of juicy looks at the alien, the classic creature we know and love, still instilling fear into our hearts all these decades later. Noah Hawley's show has a lot to live up to, but he's had a great track record so far, and Alien Earth looks to be shaping up to be something special. Very, very special. What did you think of this new trailer? Do you have any theories of your own? Is there something I missed that you want to talk about? Comment below and share your thoughts. As always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today. I'll be keeping an eye out for further updates on all things Alien and Predator in the meantime. If you want to keep up to date along with me, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, and you can follow me on social media. Follow me on X, formerly Twitter, on the account alien_theory, and on Facebook and Instagram on the accounts @AlienTheoryYT. I'll see you next time. I'm excited for Predator Killer of Killers streaming tomorrow, and I'm sure to be talking about that soon. And until then, this is Alien Theory, signing off.